So I don't think I've said this before, but Thomas Brinkley, I think, was his name. And I can't remember now if that was his real name or his online name, because the news story that came out about him mentioned his real name and his YouTube name. I probably knew him by his YouTube name, and maybe that was Thomas Brinkley, and his actual name was something else. But there's a news story that talked about this individual who got shot and killed by police, who was doing YouTube videos as Thomas Brinkley, or vice versa. Thomas Brinkley was doing videos as somebody else. I can't remember. It's been over 12 years. And I told you before that this guy, he wanted to do I wanted to do a podcast with him. I wanted to get on a live town hall, and I wanted to go over that theater recreation of James Holmes. And then he decided that I was a government shill, and that I was trying to discredit the entire community. We broke communication from each other for a long time, didn't talk to each other. And then all of a sudden, weird shit started happening in my life around the James Holmes story. And then I get this news story. Hey, Thomas Brinkley, I believe, I'm going to go with that name because I can't remember if that's his YouTube name or real name. Thomas Brinkley's been killed, somebody told me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And like, yeah, he went nuts. He stabbed some university professor on campus somewhere in Florida, went on a high-speed chase with police, attacked a police officer with a hatchet, and got gunned down. And he claimed that the government was after him, that government officials were tracking him, and that he was being followed, and that he became paranoid and basically went on the run and, tried to kill somebody, and then ended up, I think the professor survived the stabbing. And then Thomas Brinkley was shot and killed in a parking lot. And I'm not laughing because I find that shit funny. I'm laughing because I don't know how I get myself into that shit. So here I got a guy who claims I'm a government insider and that I'm trying to turn the community against him. Then he goes nuts and says government people are trying to track him down, and then goes and stabs a professor and gets shot and killed in a police standoff in a parking lot of Best Buy, if I recall all those details correctly. My wife and I were a little sketched. We were like, how close are we getting to this kind of story? How weird are things getting? Who's going to decide that I'm the government? He's got buddies. This guy had a group of buddies that wanted to out me on their podcast and get me on there to out me. So now this guy's been killed because government insiders are after him. And he said, I'm one of the government insiders. So I'm thinking any one of his buddies are out there going, that guy just killed our friend. And I'm thinking, I need to reach out to these guys and let them know I didn't kill their friend. And I'm like, no, because so I think I did try to reach out to one, and they're like, wait a minute, they're going to get more paranoid if right after their friend gets killed, I'm like, hey guys, just letting you know it wasn't me. They'll be like, oh shit, it's that guy totally. So I didn't know what to fucking do. My life is a little crazy. I don't know. Maybe all of you get into weird shit like that, and maybe I'm over dramatizing the whole thing, but I thought that was a little crazy. And so I thought I'd share that story with you. So that's Devil's Advocates 1.0. When all that shit happened, I got paranoid, I had a clearance, Thomas Brinkley got killed. I'm beginning to wonder now if his buddies are going to think I'm a government insider. And again, let me make it clear. I was I was basically the equivalent of what was Snowden's first name? Fuck, how come I can't remember Snowden's name? Remember Snowden, who was just an IT guy who worked in classified information and smuggled a bunch of documents out and then got national news and went on the run because he showed that the government was spying on Americans and using their phones to spy on them and stuff like that. He broke all Edward Snowden. So Edward Snowden, that happened while I was doing the same thing. Essentially, he was. I was working in IT. I was working in classified space, and I'm like, oh my God, people are gonna think I'm gonna be the next Snowden or something like that because of the shit that I'm into. So I just got out. I got out. I was like, I can't do it anymore. And it also created a whole conflict of interest because I had some mixed feelings working for the government and the Snowden situation, because the government wanted me to, of course, declare loud and proud that Snowden is a traitor to the United States. And I do think that he did violate his oath, right? There's no question to me that Edward Snowden violated his oath and is therefore technically a traitor to the United States. However, the problem that I had was I had complex feelings about it, way oversharing in this video, by the way. I had complex feelings about it because what it basically said was, because Snowden ratted on the government programs that he was seeing, the illegal violations of the United States Constitution, essentially, is what he was claiming. These were violations of the U.S. Constitution. The United States is not allowed to spy on you like that. And he was like, hey, they're doing these things, and I'm going to blow the lid off of it. now they want to call him a traitor and they want to bring him back to the United States and execute him. To this day, they're still waiting to bring back Edward Snowden and execute him. But you know what's happened? The entire society has changed. Our understanding of what the government is doing and how they're spying on Americans has completely changed. So the government wanted me, and I was told very clearly, you better not ever let your boss hear that you have any kind of sympathy for Edward Snowden. That guy's an effing traitor. And if your boss hears that you don't call Snowden an effing traitor, you're going to get fired. And I'm like, that sucks that I can't have freedom of speech and say that my feelings are complex. And by the way, last thing about this, maybe, I keep saying last thing and here I'm still talking. As a holder of that type of security clearance, you have to be willing to undergo random polygraph tests as part of what's required of your security clearance. And so I thought, if they ever stick me on a polygraph test and ask me how I feel about Snowden, I'm fucked, because my feelings about Snowden are complex. I agree. He committed treason in the sense that he gave up government secrets he had an oath to keep. And I wouldn't do such a thing. However, because he did that, America now has a new awakening and is changing the way they're doing things. And so in some ways you can say, thank God Edward Snowden actually told us what the hell was going on. This is the same problem, as I will end. I swear to you, I'm ending now. This is the same problem we have with Luigi Mangione. So Luigi Mangione, do I think he could have killed Brian Thompson? Yes. If he did, does that make him a murderer? Yes. Do murderers need to serve their time? I could even say yes. But the point being is that if that's what happened and something changes in America and the healthcare system changes because CEOs are afraid to keep doing their shit, then you could almost say the same thing. Thank God for a Luigi Mangione. So it's a complex issue, and how we can feel about these things are complex. So I want to reiterate one thing as I close. Luigi Mangione has the presumption of innocence until proven guilty in the court of law. I will say that over and over and over again. Regardless of whether or not Luigi did it or not, I'm going to take the tact that Luigi is innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. We'll have a different conversation if Luigi Mangione is found guilty, which more than likely he will be found guilty, because the government is never going to let this guy walk. Never. But that's a whole nother story, and we'll have that conversation when it happens, or if it happens. We'll see. I'm terrified for Luigi on one thing. I said I'm going to keep wrapping this up, and here I'm still talking. I'm terrified Luigi Mangione is going to have an accident in prison. Luigi Mangione is going to get killed or kill himself due to his great remorse, and that's the story we're going to hear, just like Epstein didn't kill himself, but we're told that he killed himself, and you're just going to have to live with that. So that's what sucks to me, is I feel like this story is never going to come to light, and Luigi may have an accident of some kind, or they're going to tell us he killed himself, and it's going to be horrendous, because I will then have to be stuck in that difficult point of saying, do I buy once again that a key witness in something that is going to blow the lid off stuff just happened to decide to kill himself? Let's hope that doesn't happen for everyone's sake. All right, this was deep. Much deeper than I expected. But that's the end of the story of the original Devil's Advocates.